So we all know how to do a dolly in and a follow shot and an orbit shot because there's plenty of tutorials out there. But what if you want to get a truly unique gimbal shot? Well, you're gonna have to step up your gimbal game, just like I did when I used a gimbal to shoot a tech commercial. So let's watch that commercial again first. It's 30 seconds long, and then I'll show you how to get unique gimbal shots. Some tips and tricks. So, some of you have been asking me how I did that opening shot. Did I reverse that shot in post, or is it a combination of 2 or 3 separate shots? And what gimbal settings did I use? Well, I'm gonna show you everything. The first thing you need to understand is that unique gimbal shots have to be planned and prepared. That's super important. You can't do them out of the loose wrist. That's what we say here in Belgium. It's an expression. Uit de losse pols, dat gaat niet. So every shot in my commercial, every transition was carefully planned before I even started shooting. I didn't just shoot a bunch of different angles and then edit them in the hope that it would look good in the end. No, everything was planned. And then I also had to plan each shot individually because I used manual focus. The opening shot, for example, you can't really do a shot like that using autofocus because you're moving fast and then the camera will lose focus. You don't know when it will find focus again. So autofocus doesn't work. You really have to use manual focus. So let me show you exactly how I did it. Gimbal. And then let's say that this first aid box, fake first aid box, is the subject. So the Mac Studio. Okay, that'll work. Let me turn on the gimbal.
No mission destroyed.
Thank you. And now let me just show you how I did it. Step by step. Let's get rid of the tripod. Okay, so first part of the shot is a slow dolly out. And then when I get here somewhere, I want the subject in focus, of course. So before I did the shot, I set the focus here manually. Focus manually set. Let's do the shot again. Dolly out, dolly out, dolly out. Oh shit. When is the subject in focus? I don't remember. Very important, when you do something like this, mark on the table where the subject is in focus. What I did is I just put a piece of tape here. And then every time I did the shot, I knew exactly when the subject would be in focus. So always mark those focus points when you use manual focus. Okay, so a piece of tape is here. Let's do it again. Dolly out, dolly out, dolly out. Mark, piece of tape. I know exactly that I have to stop here because the subject is in focus. And then the difficult part, lifting the camera up while tilting it down. Now, the moving up part, it doesn't matter if the subject is out of focus because you're moving up, there's motion blur, no one's gonna see that it's out of focus. But when I end here or when I take a little pause here, the subject, the logo, has to be in focus. So what you have to do is make sure that this distance, so where you put the mark here for the manual focus, is the same up here. And then you'll know exactly that up here the subject is also in focus. So the best thing you can do is, again, find the mark, maybe put a piece of tape on the wall, or what I did, I just used my computer monitor because the height of the computer monitor was exactly the same as the distance here. So I knew here, and then the computer monitor was here. I knew exactly when to stop here, and that it was in focus. Wow, this is really difficult for me to explain in English because it's so technical. But you get it, right? Mark those focus points and it will make everything a whole lot easier because then you'll have to do the shot over and over again until you get it right. Okay, and then next, gimbal settings. So look, I used the joystick to do that shot because while I was moving up, I wanted the camera to tilt down. But the problem is that that little joystick here is super sensitive. So the slightest movement to the left or right will make the camera pan or roll, and I didn't want that, of course. So to make the shot easier, I went into the settings of the gimbal, the joystick speed control settings, and I set the speed control settings. Wow, speed control settings, is that right? Yeah, I think so. I set the speed control settings for the pan and roll movement to 0. And now when I move the joystick a little bit to the left or the right, it won't roll or pan. See, it will only tilt up or down. Just make sure that you adjust the control settings for the joystick and not the actual motor settings, because those are two different settings and both have pan, tilt and roll settings. So make sure that you adjust the joystick settings. And the whole time the gimbal is in lock mode so that it stays steady unless I touch the joystick. Okay, and then it was just a matter of doing that shot over and over again, but because I planned it, I adjusted the settings. I could focus on getting the timing right. The timing, so dolly out, stop here at the mark, and then this was the difficult part, going up and tilting down, because you see it already went a little bit too far. It was really a matter of getting that timing exactly right. And what worked best for this shot, because the distance it's not that far, I set the tilt speed of the joystick to 100 so that it could tilt down as fast as possible. And then over and over again until I got it right. And I used the same technique for the shot where the camera moves up and it rotates, it rolls. So I just adjusted the settings that it would do just that. And then the third tip, of course, guys, practice, because a gimbal is a great tool, but it's not magic. You have to learn how to use it. Even I still have to learn, I have to practice more, because you have to learn how the gimbal moves, how you have to move your body, how the gimbal reacts to you moving your body and all that. It really matters, because for example in the beginning of my shot you can see that, you know, those little movements, those little bumps and humps. It's because I'm not Peter Lindgren. That's the problem. And then, you know, you can't really, whatever. No, that's it. That's how I did that shot. It was just one shot, no reversing, no combining separate shots. What you saw is what I did. What I did is what you saw. Of course, there was a little bit of editing magic, but it was just to, like, you know, center the shot and to overall make it look a little bit more smooth. Speed ramps, things like that. But you can see that in the editing breakdown that I did a few weeks ago. I'll link it in the description. And that's it. I think I've explained everything now. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments and I'll try to answer them. But yeah, that's it. I'm gonna end the video here. I was gonna say it's Saturday, but it's not Saturday. Shit, it's Friday. So it's not weekend yet. Is it Friday? Yes, it's Friday. Anyway, see you in the next one.